You. Yes, you, right there. You who either clicked on this video or let it autoplay. You should make some art. You really, really should. And I don't just mean drawing, although I guess that counts too. But you don't need to do that specifically. You could write music. You could write a story. You could do a little dance. You could make a game. The medium could be just about anything you could imagine. But I implore you, make art.
I'm Aqua Spider Art, but you can just call me Zoe. I'm an illustrator, and this is my 100th video here on this YouTube channel. At the end of each of my videos, I've told my viewers one thing: go out there and make some art. Today, I hope to elaborate on that wish. And today, I hope I can inspire at least one of you to follow through and maybe make something awesome. Why make art? I'm sure for most of you, I'm preaching to the choir. A good chunk of you are probably saying something like, yes, I know, I will get to it. I will make that art. And to you, good. I hope you do make that art. Heck, feel free to tell me if you're working on something right now as you watch this video. But to those of you who haven't been told to make art since you were a child, you might be wondering why. Why make art? Why would I, some guy on YouTube, implore you to do this silly little thing? Why would I bother writing a video essay for it? What does it matter if there are already great artists in the world? A good place to start is the art I do the most: illustration. I've met plenty of people who've said something to me like, I don't draw, or I don't know how to draw. There's just this feeling that pervades so many people's minds. They've given up before even attempting to draw. Children draw so often, yet, at least where I live, so many adults are embarrassed to even try. Why does this happen? What happens in your adolescence that causes you to give up? In any form of art, there are two legs of the journey. There's the process, which is the actual work of making something, and then there's the results, the final product that manifests from your efforts. Both of these things are valuable, of course. Children, when they're young, make for the sake of the process. Many of them draw because it's fun. They want to do something that brings them joy, so they pick up a pencil and start going for it. Kids might pick colors based on their favorites and not based on what they're actually drawing. Maybe they just want an excuse to use something they like and to engage with it more than before. They're young, and when they're young enough, they're unafraid. The results are irrelevant to them because the point isn't the result. The point was just to draw. Something changes when you start aging. Age and experience brings a perspective on the bigger picture. Going to school and being graded on your efforts teaches you that results do, in fact, matter. For many of my peers, I watch them become more exhausted by schoolwork and simply not have the time or energy for something as silly as doodling. While a child picks up the marker for their favorite color, an adult might wonder if they're using the right colors. As important as results are, focusing on them alone can be incredibly limiting and suffocating. Adults don't usually avoid drawing because they don't like doing it. They avoid it because they're embarrassed about how it might turn out. Heck, you even see this with young or beginning artists. Those who refuse to show others their work because of shame for their amateurity. Even artists who have a fair amount of experience often feel shame looking at their old work, cringing or mocking it. It's honestly a sad affair, and a microcosm of issues many of us experience in other places too. There's this awful fear of failing before you've even begun, so much so that you don't even try. That isn't to say that results don't matter, of course. I promise I'll talk about the results part of art in this video too. But I think this tendency to avoid starting is a bit of an overcorrection. In fearing suboptimal results, we've forgotten the joy of the process. I'll focus on illustration for much of this video, but know that this applies to many other art forms too. When it comes to illustration, drawing is about much more than simply the act of putting pencil to paper. Drawing is a state of mind and a way of thinking. Drawing, in my experience, is most honestly described as a way of seeing. One of my favorite ways of describing this is in Jordan Bolton's To the Substitute Art Teacher, a comic where the speaker recalls this art teacher's admiration for beauty in the mundane. The ability to understand, both in shape and in beauty, the things you see in the world. This is the skill that lies at the heart of visual art. When you learn to draw, you start noticing details in the world that you took for granted. What basic shapes make up this familiar object? What things secretly look like other things? Learning to draw is only partly about actually drawing. Learning to draw is learning to see the world with a greater sense of detail and appreciation than you did before. This, of course, applies to other art media as well. Learning to play music gives you a better appreciation for listening to it. Learning about architecture gives you a greater understanding of any building you've ever walked into. Learning to sew gives you a better idea of how your clothes, curtains, or stuffed animals were made. Learning these skills doesn't just make you better at doing them, it makes you better at seeing them, at understanding them, and being enriched by them. For an example of this, I'll talk about my high school days. I went to an environmental science high school. In my senior year, we had an exam where we had to ID native and some invasive plant species. We spent weeks going out into the field, discussing the big and small details that help arborists tell these trees apart from each other. Suddenly, these small details that sat dormant in the background of my world became part of the foreground, and something I could meaningfully pay attention to. The mass of trees at the edge of the woods was no longer a shapeless mass of leaves, but now a varied crowd, with individuals I could pick out if I looked. It was as if the forest, a place I had already loved, had suddenly become even more rich with life and detail. To me, it was like rediscovering what made visual art and drawing so special to me. This feeling, this awakening to the greater world around me, this is a feeling I hope to share and encourage everyone to experience. A friend of mine, Alex, is working on getting a PhD in math. Alex and I have been friends since we were kids, and I've kind of made it a pet project of mine to get him to learn to draw. Alex works with topography, an element that greatly relates to shapes and understanding abstractions, and I sincerely believe learning to draw will make it easier for him to work and will give him a better understanding of what exactly he's working with. Training your brain to think in shapes the way visual art does? This is a transferable skill, and I think geometry and topology are perfect places to apply that skill. Though I'm not just doing this because I think it offers him a practical benefit. I'm sure it will, but that's not the whole point. I really want to teach Alex to draw because I think it will be fun. There's plenty of practical reasons to learn an art form. There's plenty of benefits for your mental or even physical health. But the reason I keep drawing, I keep making art, and I manage to make a video once a week, well, that's just because I think it's fun. Let's take another trip back to my school days. For basically the entirety of my academic career, I carried a sketchbook with me to school. I'd often go through 3 full sketchbooks in a single school year. I would draw between taking notes because I couldn't resist the urge to do it. My original characters needed an outlet to live, and I was going to give it to them in the form of art. In my 20s, I realized that part of this insatiable urge to draw, even at school mid-lecture, was due to undiagnosed ADHD. I simply needed more stimulation than school provided on its own. Heck, I'm sure the way I would draw every day in school, rushing to finish drawings before the bell rang, this is probably the biggest factor as to why I can draw so fast as an adult. But I was never running away from the boredom of school, I was running toward the joy of drawing. Even as an adult, I really cannot stand to be away from creating for very long at all. The reason I can keep up the schedule of posting every week is simply because I want to make videos that often. Drawing is a wonderful way to think out loud without making a sound. Drawing is a fun way of making my friends smile, laugh, or even cry. Drawing is something nice to do with my hands while I listen to videos much like this one on YouTube. Drawing is more than a career to me. Drawing is like my default state of being. Of course, I don't think every person who makes art is like this. I mean, I do have ADHD, and drawing does help me reach a stimuli quota of sorts. But I do think there's this vibe that surrounds art, especially the fine arts, that art is miserable, or always difficult, hard work. There's this character of the starving artist in the zeitgeist, and people remember artists like Vincent van Gogh for their miserable lives, only being appreciated posthumously. There's just this weird, awful idea that only suffering makes real art. Art can be an amazing cathartic outlet for misery, of course. I'm definitely no stranger to that. Processing your pain through art can be truly freeing, and some amazing works have come out of such places. But art isn't simply a byproduct of suffering. Art is something that saves us. Art is something that us humans can turn to for a reason to live, whether it's to make it or to witness it.
Do you remember that one Nintendo Direct from last year? The one where they announced Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, Silk Song, Deltarune, Rhythm Heaven, and all that? Yeah, it was pretty goated. Do you remember the memes that came out of it? Do you remember what so many people said? Never kill yourself. Yeah, most of those people were probably just trying to be funny. The emphasis was that we just waited so long for these games that it just felt good to be alive for them at all. But I think this sentiment that the fans felt gets to the point of what art really is. Art, even if it's in the form of something trivial like a video game, it's worth living for. It's a reason to live.
My point here is you don't need to wait for someone else to make something to find that reason to live, that sense of joy. While it's always cool to engage with other people's work, there's something special about creating something for yourself for its own sake. The act of doodling in the margins, doing a silly dance in the kitchen, singing in the shower, that is valuable. That is something that can bring you joy. Indulging in the urge to create, no matter how trivial, this is human, and it's fun.
Huh? What, are you still scared? Scared that what you make will suck? Well, I don't care. Make it. Even if it sucks. I mean it. When I tell you to make art, I don't just want you to make a masterpiece. I don't just want the stuff you find acceptable or presentable. I truly mean it. Make it, even if it sucks. But make it.
Yeah, this is the part of the video where I will very briefly share my frustrations with so-called AI art. It's plagiarism, it sucks for the environment, it steals your privacy, I'm sure you've heard all this before. But I think there's another awful thing it reinforces, that you shouldn't bother trying. Now there's people who don't even bother making something. Why bother when this thing could do it for you for less effort? Why bother when this machine could do it better? This is just stupid. Why dance at the club? Just have a robot do it for you. Why walk in the park? Just look at it in Google Maps. Why talk to your friends? You could just have a chatbot do it for you. People who are already scared to try art are only having their fears reinforced. They're being tricked into thinking that the process is worthless and that only the results matter, and then the results they get still suck ass anyway. Tech companies promoting AI art are preying on your insecurity to not make art yourself. They are profiting from the fear that what you will make will be so bad you should use their plagiarism software instead. And yeah, it sucks for professional artists since now people aren't hiring us, but it also seriously sucks for anyone who might have picked up art as a hobby. If you're scared, now you have a new excuse to not try. So here's what I want instead. I want you to make art, even if it sucks. Honestly, especially if it sucks. Write a crappy novel full of cliches. Draw a stupid drawing with terrible anatomy. Dance in a confusing and rhythmless way. At least in the US, our culture has this sort of all-or-nothing mentality, that your work needs to be good enough for a profit to even matter. The best way to rebel against this is to make something just for the heck of it. Just make something. Make something shitty. Make something self-indulgent. Make something without worrying about the end. Make something for making's sake. You don't need to share your art either. It can be fun, but you're not obligated. Sharing can honestly be a lot of pressure for most people. The stuff you make could just be for you or maybe your friends if you want. It's yours to do with what you want. But I truly implore you, make it. Make it even if it sucks. Make it even if no one will see it. You will be better for it. Yes, even you. It may be tempting to think to yourself, surely they don't mean me, I won't be good enough to bother. But if you are having thoughts like that, I really do mean you too. Especially if you have doubts about your abilities. You should make art. Don't limit yourself to only doing things you want to be good at. Let yourself do things just because you think they're fun or just because you're curious about them. Go to a karaoke night and have all the voice cracks in the world. Draw something stupid enough that you'll laugh when it's done. Write a fanfiction that you're sure won't get any views. Free yourself from shame. Free yourself from the urge to always have successful results. The fact that you bothered, the fact that you tried at all, this is already a success. If it turns out well, consider that a bonus. The point of this video isn't necessarily to inspire the next big artist or something, though that would be kind of cool. The point is to motivate you, even if it's just one person watching this, to go try any sort of art. If even just one of you makes something, draws a doodle, plays with some clay, tries a trendy dance, or anything really, because you watched this video, I'll consider my mission accomplished. When I tell people to make some art at the end of my speed paints, I'm not just saying that as a silly catchphrase. I'm saying that in hopes that someone, even if it's just one person, actually does it. Art enriches our lives. Art is fun, and it's a shame that many people are too scared to try it. If I can overturn that fear for someone, then it's all been worth it. Draw, write, dance, sing, compose, make something, make anything. Make it because you feel shitty. Make it because you feel great. Make it because you're bored. Make it because you're curious. Make it even if it sucks. Make it because it could be great. Make it. Pick something to try, and make it. And I really hope you have fun with it. I think that's all I've got for this little essay here. Thank you all for listening to me ramble this long into the video. I really have no idea how long it'll actually end up. Like I said before, this is actually my 100th video, so it felt right to do something special for this milestone. If you've been here for a while, thanks for continuing to watch my videos and support my art. And if you just got here, welcome! I hope to see you with more again in the future. If this video inspired you to make something, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you to my Ko-fi members for helping to make this video possible. My Ko-fi members help support me by making my income a little more stable, and help me get closer to my dream of being a full-time artist. So sincerely, thank you to each of you. If you'd like to join them, you can check out my Ko-fi page in the description below, where you can join as a member for as little as $1 a month. I'm hoping to reach 100 members before the end of 2026, so every member counts. Pride Month is also coming soon, and so is my Mothman Pride project for the year. I'm aiming for 25 followers before the project launches, so any support helps. Spread the word and let's make some awesome stickers, pins, and charms together. I hope to see you all there when the project launches on June 1st.
Thank you again if you did watch this video all the way to the end. It really does mean the world. And I hope to have another, more normal video for you guys next week. But in the meantime, and you already know what I'm about to say, why don't you go out there and make some art? Do you guys like seeing the nose piece in the video, by the way? This is the original one. This was the first one I made, and then this is the one I made for the video that you guys watched, if you saw that video a few months ago. I thought they would make fun, background things for the video, so I thought they would be pretty cute. I don't know. I just like these guys. It's always fun having them. You should make some stuffed animals, too. They're art. You should make some. I think it'd be fun.